And let's start it on here. All right, guys. Podcast number. I think this is. What number is this? I can't even see what this shit. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're on podcast 213. And I'm trying to keep this shit on, but I really can't see with it. It's really difficult to see. It's such a cool mask. As you can see, I'm a nerd. I have way more helmets than this. Like, I have way more. But this shit is pretty cool. Anyway, so I'll try to do the introduction with the mask on, but I know at some point if I'm taking the podcast serious, I'm gonna have to take it off. Anyway, so what we're getting into today is not everybody is on your level. What does that mean? You can look at this a lot of different ways, to be honest. And everybody's never going to be on your level. And this came to light. Honestly, I can't even look at my notes. I have to take this off. Yeah, no, I got to take it off because I can't even see my notes that I took. Now, when I say that everybody's not on your level and you can't deal with certain people for that reason, it's not because it sounds arrogant, but it's really not. And I mean this in the best way, that you cannot deal with everybody because everyone's not on your level. Now, this is not necessarily a bad thing. And I'll give you an example. And this has happened a few times, and it actually happens quite a lot. There's been times in the past where I've dealt with women, and because I guess the person that they talked to prior to, and this is not only exclusive to men, this is something that women go through too. And there's times where I've talked to women in the past, and let's say if the guy they talked to didn't necessarily look like me, or he necessarily wasn't in shape, or he didn't necessarily have the financial situation that I was used that I have, or he may have, you know, he may not get as much attention. So when you talk to a female and you put a female in this certain type of situation or certain type of environment, what that does is now what that does is she's not used to talking to you. And some females, and I say most females, are highly, highly insecure. A lot of women are very insecure. So the last time that I went through something like this, I was talking to a girl, and she wasn't necessarily ugly. I'm not going to talk to anybody who I'm not attracted to begin with. So she's a pretty girl, but she's a little more on the thick side. Now, when you talk to women that are thick, it could be, they can be very proportionate, or it can be, kind of whatever. Me personally, if I talk to a woman that's thick, I prefer her to be, hips, thighs, all that stuff. So it was more or less like that. No, I was trying to talk with the mask on. It's too much. So I was talking to her, and see, the thing was, I guess she felt a little insecure about herself. Now, if you know me, I'm a professional athlete. Like, I work out just about every day. I've been having a six pack since I was like fucking 5 years old. Right. And the problem was, she even said it herself. She said, I felt as if when it comes to being on that level as far as fitness, I feel like we're not aesthetically matched. So one, she's stepping into a realm where she's already starting off with insecurities because the last dude didn't look like I did. She's overly attracted to me, and she has a lot of insecurities. And she's basically saying that I bring that out because she doesn't look like me. And because she doesn't look like me, she feels as if I can do better than her. So now she's already starting to project insecurities. And something that happened was, she we had a situation where she was just like, "Oh, I don't think I can do this." And I'm like, "Why not?" This is the first time. I'm like, "Why not?" And she's just, "Well, I just feel as if you get way more attention than I do, and like I feel like eventually you'll want somebody else." And it's like, dude, if I'm talking to you for you, I like you for you, right? And it has nothing to do with anything else. And that's the thing. Some women don't realize this. And that's where you get into this whole idea that when you talk to certain people, they're not on your level, meaning not arrogance. It's just like aesthetically. Like she was highly insecure, always complained if I didn't respond. Like we were talking like a few days, and she said that I didn't respond fast. And I'm like, dude, it's been like 2 hours. I'm working, right? And don't get me wrong, some women are used to you talking a lot, and I don't really ignore. I know some guys do that, and maybe in the past I may have advised certain situations to do that, but I don't necessarily do that because I don't need to. I'm genuinely busy. And when I'm busy, I can't be on my phone. And I prioritize certain messages before others. So you had a situation where the girl was just highly insecure. And I guess dealing with me was just dealing with somebody that was a little in over her head. But sometimes you have to understand that when you're dealing with certain people, and when I say they're not on your level, they're just not mentally and physically where you're at. And for example, if you're dating a girl and she's not used to dating a guy that gets lots of attention, this can be a problem because she's thinking that this is not regular, or perhaps she was in a situation where she got more attention than the guy, or she's probably never dealt with a guy who gets more attention than her. Now, this switch can have like a psychological effect. Now she becomes more needy. Now she's complaining. Now she's saying that, oh, I don't want to deal with this and that and the third. And I think one of the biggest problems with these kind of situations is guys will try to cater and try to pander to a woman and say, listen, like it's not even that serious. It's just a girl. I'm not really into them and this and that and the third. But a lot of the times, what you have to understand is that these women will basically hold you back. I remember I had a friend and he was telling me that as I was talking to him, he gained a lot of weight. And I'm like, bro, what's going on? You getting a little chubby here. He was like, my wife, she was getting upset with me going to the gym. And I'm like, what the fuck you mean? She thought that I was messing around every time I went to the gym. I'm like, bro, you're going to the gym. Why didn't she just come with you? So she didn't want to go to the gym with him. And then on top of that, he's basically saying that he stopped going to the gym to save his marriage. But do you see how someone being insecure and you pandering and giving into them and giving them their way, now you're unhealthy. Now you look disgusting. Now you have a gut. Now you're being fat because your lady was insecure and and he wasn't cheating, he wasn't doing anything wrong, but she got highly insecure. But this is what I mean. You got to be careful with the people that you decide to continue with, because if I ever see something like that and I'm going to the gym and she's complaining that, oh, I can't do this. Like, I think you're cheating. First of all, why are you so guilty? That's one thing to expect. Because a woman that's overly guilty for no reason, if you never gave her a reason, that may be a red flag. You need to investigate furthermore. But aside from that, you can't give up your ideals and you can't give up the things that you keep consistent in your daily schedule. You can't give up your disciplines and the things that you do regularly just because someone has an issue with it. Now I understand that some people make sacrifices for their significant other, but this is not one of them, right? A lot of people sacrifice money, like people sacrifice money, people sacrifice doing things that are necessarily to their livelihood because their partner doesn't want them to do it. I would say that's 1,000% a bad idea. And I guess when you're married, that's a bit different, but you need to have a middle grounds. You can't have that much trust issues. You can't have that much insecurity to where your partner's upset and crying and becomes insecure about you going to the gym and then they start to complain about it. That's nothing that you should ever compromise on. That's not a compromise. It's not. Especially me, someone who recommends doing the same thing every single day, 365 days. Yes, some people take a day, a few days off. Your average person is going to take a few days off, but that's why you're fucking average. I don't want to be average. I want to be a part of the 1%. And if you can stay disciplined with your gym and your workouts and your fitness, working on yourself, then you'll be able to stay disciplined with everything else. Whether you start a business, whether you do something that is financial, you'll be able to stay consistent with it and keep it up. That's why, sometimes people say, well, gym is just not everything. You got to keep up with everything, but it's your discipline. Because even when you're not motivated, you'll continue to stay disciplined. So if you start a new venture, if you start a new business venture, if you start something that is new to you and you're not feeling motivated this day, you're not going to just stop. Why? Because you have discipline. And old habits die slow. So if you create this new habit and you stay consistent, you are creating discipline for yourself. Remember, the disciplined life is the happy life. And you can never get to that place if you're trying to pander to someone's feelings and cater to someone's feelings because they have an insecurity because of you going to the gym. First, you need to try to understand. And let's be realistic. If you're married, you're not trying to just leave your wife just because she has certain insecurities about you going to the gym. First, you need to identify, like, hey, what's the problem? What is going on? Do you want to come with me? Right? You can go to the gym with me. But stop going to the gym because your wife thinks that you're cheating is fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And this is no shade to anybody. This is not throwing shots at anybody. But what I'm saying is when you deal with certain people, you have to understand that they're not on your level, right? And I know guys like that. I know guys who get money, but then they start dating the prettiest girl they ever dated in their life. And they know before they start dating this girl that let's say if she's a model or she has maybe 100,000 followers on Instagram and she gets inquiries and that's how she makes her money or whatever the case may be. But then when they get with the girl, like, I don't want you doing that. I don't want you posting that. No, that's the wrong way to go about it. If you know she has this is something you evaluate. This is something that you filter out before you even get into the relationship with that kind of person. Because if they doing that type of shit, you don't just say, hey, now I want you to stop now that you're with. No, you get to know them. You see if they have the propensity to not do it. But if they're doing it willingly and they built a following off of it, this is clearly something that they like doing. You don't then tell that person to, hey, stop doing that because what got you to them, what have made you attracted to them, now you're with them. Now you're going to tell them to stop. No, you just don't be with that kind of person. And I know it sounds hard, but a lot of people don't have the discipline just to act and do the right thing and make the right decisions. Some people just be like, well, I like her, she look good, hopefully she'll stop. No. That's like you saying I'm a date OnlyFans model, and because she does OnlyFans, oh, we're in a relationship, she should stop now. That's not likely to happen. And even if it does, you're gonna run into problems because there's a problem there with morality. If she thinks that's okay to do those kind of things, okay, that's her prerogative. But you got to understand that if somebody's willing to do something that's conflicting with your moral compass, if they're willing to do one thing, there's a spectrum of things that fall on that in the same realm that they'll be willing to do that is maybe considered immoral. It may not just be getting on camera having sex or being naked. It could be something along those lines that may seem justifiable to them. So when you get to that, you can't just say that, oh, stop doing this. No, you have to understand that some people are not on your level. Some people, whether that be physically, whether that be mentally, whether that be spiritually, whether that be, morally, their moral compass is just at a different place and they don't see certain problems with things that you may, right? And a lot of times that comes with dealing with certain women who are not used to dating someone like you, maybe even someone disciplined. You have a lot of women that'll say, well, hey, if you really liked me, you wouldn't go to the gym. What? If you really liked me, you would just skip one day. No, listen, this I'm dedicated. I'm not skip. Oh, you can miss 3 days out of the gym. Let's say if she got you to stay home one day. Okay, I'm home one day. Oh, you can miss 2 days. It's not that big of a deal. It is a fucking big deal. It's a very fucking big deal. This is your discipline. This is your life. This is longevity. I seen a 70-year-old, it's a Chinese man. They have a video. You can look it up. 70-year-old Chinese man. I think it's Shanghai. I forget the place. I'm not gonna try to fuck up the place in China, but I swear to God, the dude looks like he's 40 and he's fucking 70. Ripped arms, no wrinkly skin. Dude looks amazing. And I'm just like, holy shit. And he's 70 years old. But one of the keys that he said he does, he works out every single day and he does not miss a day. That doesn't mean every day you go to the gym, you got to kill yourself. But when you have somebody trying to tell you not to do that, especially when this person doesn't work out, especially when this person doesn't have good habits, right? A lot of you guys, and I know a lot of women do it, a lot of women are smoking weed. Some guys smoke weed, but you're about your fitness. You're about staying in shape. You're about being healthy. You're about advancing and growing as a person. But you're dating this baddie. She's a baddie, but she smokes weed and she doesn't work out. How are you guys aligning? Yes, the sex may be good. She may look good. You might guys may have some of the same shows you watch. You may get along, but you got to understand that this person is not aligning with you. They're not on the same playing field as you. They're not in the same realm. So when she comes to you and says, "Oh, I want to spend time with you. I want you to skip 2 days out of the gym." Oh, you skip two? What's one more day? You can even miss a week. You go to the gym all the time. You're in shape. Now you're breaking your routine. Now you're breaking habits. But this is what I mean. Sometimes you got to understand that certain people aren't on your level. And this is why you have to filter people before you get into a relationship with them. Unless that person has a propensity to change and to try to want to grow, you shouldn't just be with anybody. Everybody shouldn't have access to you. Not everybody should be allowed to be with you. You have to have standards as men, right? And then a lot of time you start getting accused of stuff. Like I said with my friend, it's just a lot that you're dealing with, right? And this is why I say you can't always be with somebody like that. And that shit gets draining. It really does. Because a lot of the times a good guy is gonna say, "Oh, it's okay." Like they're gonna try to cater and try to pander you, but that shit is draining after a while. Even if you say, "I'm still going to the gym," right? Even if you say that I'm still going to the gym, and you said I'm still gonna go to the gym and I'm not gonna stop, but that's a problem. It really is a problem. It is. Now, you can even see this with when you go to the gym. Like my friends, I can't go to the gym with my friends, right? Because I work out for a long ass time. With even whether I'm in a fitness gym or if I'm in a boxing gym. If you guys don't know, obviously I'm a professional fighter, but if I'm in the gym, I can't work out with my friends. I could spend 2, 3 hours working out straight. These motherfuckers go to the gym 40 minutes, hour tops, and they ready to go. Next thing you know, oh, I'm still working out. Now they waiting on me. Right? My friends are still my friends, but we've just come to well, I've came to a conclusion that I can't necessarily work out with them. Now, there are times where I can do a 40-minute workout. If I'm doing like 2 or 3 workouts a day, I'll go for a quick 40-minute workout or a half an hour workout, just a quick little pump or whatever I'm doing, whether cardio or sprints or something like that, then I can go there with them. But I run on my schedule. So I don't necessarily have the time to say, "Yo, you want to go to the gym right quick, 40 minutes?" It's the different schedules and it can't really keep up when I'm working hard. Nobody's going to me in the boxing gym. But that doesn't mean I cut my friends off, but I just don't go to the gym with them. Now, when you have a lady, sometimes you have to make a determination whether this relationship is worth keeping or not. Because a lot of times you can be with somebody and you're with them so much so, and you guys are so far apart and you don't align that you may just have to leave them. When you don't get along at all, when you guys don't do any of the same things, when you can't agree on anything, when you see that your lifestyle starts to become a problem for them. And this is where bullshit comes in, like happy wife, happy life, or you got to compromise. No, fuck that compromise shit. I should still be able to work out. I should still be able to keep my routine or do it earlier or later in the day where our lives don't clash. You telling me not to go to the gym, you telling me not to prioritize my health is a big fucking problem. And a lot of guys don't even understand that. A lot of guys don't even understand that's a fucking problem. And you should never and you can never actually compromise your health. Remember, priority. A woman should never be in your top 3 priorities. Remember, it's God, yourself, and then your purpose. Why in that order? Obviously, I'm a God-fearing person. And I think we're all day gonna meet our creator, right? All of humanity will stand in front of him one day, but that's neither here or there. 2, yourself. Why does yourself come right after that and before anything else? Because if you're not together mentally, if you're not together physically, if you're not sharp, if your mental health is fucked up, you can't function in life. You can't function in the world. You have to be able to take care of yourself. Because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else. And then your purpose. You have to make a living. You have to have a job. You have to have a purpose. There's studies done that guys that don't have a purpose are a lot more depressed. Guys that don't have jobs, have trouble getting jobs, are a lot more depressed. Guys that can't provide for their family, that can't provide for themselves, that have an inkling of dignity as a man, this is something you want to have. These things have to come first. And then some people have, five more things that they will put before the woman. And then maybe your woman comes. Even if you're married, you have to be mentally fit so you can take care of them. You have to be mentally fit so you can defend your family. What if you get into an altercation, you can't defend your family? Then what? So you have to come before that, and then your purpose. So when somebody's coming to you and telling you, I think you shouldn't do this, I think you should stop doing this, certain things are, you don't compromise. And I don't really believe in compromises in a relationship anyway. There are things that I don't mind doing, and then there's things that, you know, I can go and do. But if I'm totally opposed to something like not working out or cutting off something that I'm doing in my necessary day-to-day life, I'm not compromising that. And I'm not compromising my health. That's something that's never going to happen, right? And sometimes financially, sometimes these things happen. I remember one time I was dating a girl and she was like, "Oh, I hope I can save at least what $400 this month. I just need $200 now, and then my next check." I was like, "I can give you $200." This is a girl that I'm like talking to for a little minute now. We're hooking up and everything. I'm like, "Dude, I can give you $200." And at the time, I think this was when I first started making like $10,000 a month. And I was like, "You know what? I can give you $200. It's nothing." She was like, "Are you gonna hold this against me? My last boyfriend held things." I'm like, "Dude, it's fucking $200. I'm gonna fuck it off anyway. I'm gonna spend it doing bullshit anyway. Just take it." And she, for a long time, she eventually got over it, but for a long time she thought I was gonna use it against her, but that wasn't the case because she wasn't used to dealing with someone that $200 wasn't a big deal at that time. So sometimes you may have to cut people off, but you want to surround yourself with people that's going to help you elevate. You want to surround yourself with people that's going to help you rise to a new level, you know? And sometimes you have to be careful who you deal with on a regular basis. Because I get it, sometimes sex is cool, having sex is fun, doing all that stuff, and you got a beautiful girl. But you have to think long term, is this person good for you? You have to look at their habits. Now, right away, I'm not saying always cut the person off. Talk about it. Think about it. Give it some thought. See if they are willing to change. See if they're willing to grow. Because if you don't grow together, you're going to grow apart. That's inevitable. If you're growing as a person and you start eating healthy and they always want to eat junk, you start working out more, you start getting shredded, you start setting higher goals, and they're just like staying stagnant, or they just maybe want to get a promotion. You want to start a business, you're elevating. Eventually, you're going to fall out of alignment with this person because you're outgrowing them. Next, thing you know, every aspect of your life is different. You're even trying to dress better. You don't even want to drive the same car and they're still stuck there. You outgrow these people. That's why it's super, super important to understand that you need to have the right people surrounded by you. But anyway, guys, I'll end this podcast off. If anybody has questions, you guys can shoot those. I think this is podcast number 213. And that is that.